It's Monday, September 18th, 2017. I'm your host, Sarah Beal. Thank you for joining us today. On today's show, we will talk with Superintendent of Schools, Meg Mayo Brown. Then we'll chat with Planning and Development Director, Elizabeth Jenkins. And finally, we catch up with Cape Cod Community College President, John Cox. But first, let's get a look at today's top headlines. The town will hold a special election tomorrow, September 19th. All polling locations will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. This vote will decide how the town will pay for the proposed new Cape Cod Regional Technical High School. For more information on this vote and the vote that will take place October 24th, please visit www.townofbarnstable.us and click through to the Q&A located under notifications on the homepage. There will also be a separate ballot in Precinct 12 for the town council race. The town is looking for your feedback regarding existing and future use of town fields and courts. The Department of Public Works and Recreation Division are holding an informational session regarding the town-wide comprehensive field study. The informational session will be held on September 21st at 5:30 p.m. at the Barnstable Senior Center. The meeting will include a presentation on the project and an opportunity for questions and comments. You can also take an online survey by going to www.townofbarnstable.us and click on Barnstable Sports Recreation Facilities Master Plan Survey under notifications. The Barnstable pump-out boats are in service through Columbus Day weekend, and they will be running Thursday through Tuesday. The pump-out boats monitor VHF channel 16 and 09 during operating hours. Please schedule pump-outs using the email address pumpout@town.barnstable.ma.us, or you can call the Harbor Master's office at 508-790-6273. It is helpful to schedule pump-outs in advance. The shoreside pump-out boat will be available in Hyannis Harbor as well as Barnstable Harbor through October during daylight hours. Up next, we will talk with Superintendent of Schools, Meg Mayo Brown. Thank you so much, Meg, for joining us today. School just started about 2 weeks ago or so. How are things going?
Things are going really, really well. Again, we have over 5,000 students.
Wow.
We welcomed them all before Labor Day. We start slightly before Labor Day to get a few days sort of out of the way. And now we're back in full force. So things are terrific. I would ask our parents who use bus transportation to be a little patient with us. There's a lot of construction in the town that our buses are having to navigate, and just trying to get the system in place for primarily around dismissal. We're working on that, so if students are arriving to the bus stop a little late, know that we're addressing it and trying to get those times.
Yeah, there's road work starting today on Osterville West Barnstable Road, which is right near BUES and West Villages, so that's going to probably cause a little bit of a delay with the kids coming in and definitely with the kids coming out.
Yeah.
So.
And we're trying to reroute the buses to the best that we can, but we do have to honor bus stops. So
yeah.
We're on it. We're on it. We're definitely taking a look at it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that work should only last for about a week. So hopefully things can. But this is the time of the year, road work.
That's right.
This is when they try to get it all
in.
Yeah. So it's important. Yeah. So I know you wanted to discuss class sizes at the elementary school.
Right.
That's K through 3.
One thing that I've learned being new to the community is the importance that parents place on class sizes in the district. So we're paying close attention to that. And our teachers also prefer smaller class sizes because they can address student need in a better way when classes are small. So for our schools in kindergarten through grade 3, class sizes are looking terrific from my perspective. It's with the exception of West Villages, which I think just because of where it's located in Marston's Mills, there's a lot of families there. We tend to have higher class sizes. But outside of that, generally speaking, I just looked at the numbers today, we're averaging around 20 students per class, K through 3. So obviously some are lower, 17 or 18, some might be higher, around 21 or 22. But again, I think those class sizes for the opening of school year are right where we're wanting them to be. So that's great news.
Yeah.
At Barnstable United Elementary, they are larger. I did add an additional 4th grade teacher just as we opened school to try and lower class sizes at the 4th grade level there. So now there are 18 4th grade teachers and 18 5th grade teachers at Barnstable United. So, and again, we'll certainly be keeping an eye on class sizes there. That just those tend to swell a little bit as the year goes by. But I certainly want our parents and community to know that class size is important to us too, and we're watching it.
Yeah, and it's a moving target. I mean, you could have a very large fourth grade class one year, and then the next year it could be
Exactly.
smaller, it could be bigger.
Yes.
So you're constantly evaluating how it's going to look and adjusting, so you can try to keep the classes as small as possible.
Right, and certainly this year our fourth grade class was larger than the fifth grade class, and that's also a year where we know we may lose some students to other schools inside the community and outside the community. So, you know, we try and do our best projection around what we think grade 4 is going to look like, but it's really not until do we open the doors do we get a good sense.
Great. I think that's important for parents to be aware that you do take that into account, because I understand why they would be worried about that, you know, because it's like it's a very important age group, and you know, if there's 25, 28 kids in a class between kindergarten and third grade, they can be a little rambunctious.
Yes.
So I know that there's been some principal changes that we just wanted to go over real quickly.
Sure.
Jim Anderson is now at West Villages, and Bethany is now the interim principal, BIS.
Right, so BUE. So
sorry.
It's okay. Yep. So Jim Anderson, who our families will know, he's led Barnstable Intermediate School for 3 years, I believe. He's now over at Barnstable United Elementary School at my request, and he'll be there for the year. Meanwhile, on an interim basis for the year, Beth Deneen will be, who was the assistant principal at Barnstable Intermediate School, will be interim principal there for the year. So I think both schools are in great shape. Mr. Anderson at BUE is making some modifications to the schedule. Again, we've added a couple more positions there for specialist teachers. Because we found ourselves in the situation, there's over 850 students at BUE, and one physical education teacher, one art teacher to see all of those students, I think is unreasonable. So he has adjusted the schedule. We've added some additional part-time staff to those specialist groups, which I think is better for students, better for teachers. It also creates some more opportunities for teachers to have time to plan together, because students are at their specialist program, so that frees up teachers to be working together, which is something we certainly want to promote. So those are the two big changes for this year in terms of leadership.
That's great. That's great. I can't believe there's 850 kids at BUES. That's it's where all the villages come together for the first time. So I mean, it makes sense that it's that large, but I didn't realize how large it is. And I know that this year you're adding in quite a few more half days for teacher development and training and things like that. So you want parents to be aware to make sure that you're looking at the schedule. You just had one last week.
Right. Yesterday.
Yep. And there'll be some more coming up. I think the next one is in November.
Right. Yep. So we had our first one yesterday, and again, we really want to thank our parents and community partners for understanding our need to provide some time for teachers to continue to grow in terms of their professional knowledge and skills, to make sure that we continue to be an excellent school system, which is in large part based on the work that our teachers do. So we want to be able to, we want to ensure that they have that time to work together and you know, learn the latest in terms of what research is telling us is best practice in terms of it within the education. So, so as you said, our first one was yesterday. We have a full day release October 6th. So there's no school at all on October 6th, and then our next half day is in November. So it just asks parents to just, you know, pay attention to the school calendar, that there are more days than last year that are half days.
Yeah, so just be aware that those will be coming up.
That's right.
So you got to think plan ahead for childcare and things like that. So. And then the last thing we wanted to discuss real quick was the school committee met recently, and the school start time subcommittee has ended their work.
Yes. So we ran 3 forums in May and June, community forums, to share the recommendations that the school start time committee had forwarded to the school committee, and those recommendations were to have 2 4th through 7th grade schools, and then adjust the start time so that our high school students could be going later. The difficulty with that is that we have to have 3 different start times in the district in order to make sure we have efficient and economical transportation. So someone has to start at 7:20 in the morning. Right now our high school starts at 7:20 in the morning, and we know our high school students need a later start time for a variety of reasons. But the school committee has tabled that for the time being. We really couldn't make a determination as to, in order to have just 2 different start times instead of the 3 that we have now would come at a cost close to $1 million. We just don't have that funding to be able to do that. So at this time, it's tabled and there's some closure on it. But again, appreciate the community coming out and expressing their feelings about the start times and whether or not a 4th through 7th grade school made any sense for our particular community. So I appreciate all that input.
Yeah, it's great to see people come out, whether they were in favor or against. It's always nice to see people participating in, the conversation here.
Yep, exactly.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming in today and giving us an update on how school started so far.
Great.
So we'll
Great
talk
to be
to you
here
again soon.
Okay, thank you.
My guest today is Superintendent of Schools, Meg Mayo Brown. Coming up, I recently had the chance to chat with Cape Cod Community College President John Cox, but first, we talk with Planning and Development Director Elizabeth Jenkins. Joining me now is Elizabeth Jenkins. She's the Planning and Development Director. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me in, Sarah. Good morning.
Good morning. So we want to kind of go over what exactly planning and development is. It's, you guys cover a lot of different things. You have 4 different programs that you run, so why don't we start there?
Sure, yeah. So planning and development was designed to be an interdisciplinary department that takes advantage of skill sets in a wide range of areas to address some of the Cape's most pressing problems. So, I really appreciate you having this opportunity to come in and just talk about the department in general. I think, as you know, we recently changed our name from the Growth Management Department to the Planning and Development Department, just to kind of give the general public a clearer picture about what our goals are as a department and how we fit in with the larger town structure. So, I mean, really what that is generally is, we work to promote quality of life in all of Barnstable's 7 villages by, promoting a sustainable economic development, housing options, and comprehensive and sustainable land use planning for the long term. And we do that through 4 different departments that we have: our regulatory review division, our comprehensive planning division, our economic development division, and our community development division. So by saying those are divisions, I don't want to make it sound like we're divided, because I think the fundamental part of the planning and development department that makes us effective, not defective, effective, is that we all work together as a team, again, to address these big issues in a multidisciplinary way.
Yeah, and you guys cover a wide variety of things within those 4 divisions.
We do.
As you would say. I mean, like you said, affordable housing, economic development. I know that arts and culture is in there. So
I'll just give you a little rundown. So it kind of starts with comprehensive planning, and that's really setting out the vision for the entire town and then for each individual village within the town of Barnstable. So, what do we want to look like in 20 years? What's important to us as a community? What do we want to keep the same, and what do we want to change? So again, kind of setting out that vision and making sure that we as a town are thinking about that when we make all decisions across all departments. So, it's a major part of the responsibility of the Planning and Development Department, and what we do through our comprehensive planning program. So current initiatives such as the Open Space and Recreation Plan, we've been here to talk about that. Ways that, again, we can kind of look at the issues that are important to the residents of the town of Barnstable and get that information out to policymakers. So that's comprehensive planning. Regulatory review deals with the implementation of those goals under the comprehensive plan. So that group works with zoning, site plan review, again, to make sure that kind of our general goals are getting translated into everyday regulation and development going forward.
It's so important.
So important. Economic development, again, clearly a priority for the town, and for making sure that the entire Cape stays sustainable in the long term. Bringing really good opportunities here for residents to be employed, looking at our different sectors, tourism, the blue economy, and making sure those are well developed. So again, Barnstable, can be a great place to live and work. Right. So we do that, again, through kind of our traditional economic development strategies, working on addressing those economic sectors, and then through our just fantastic arts and culture program that Melissa Hirsch
so wonderful
puts together. Because sometimes the place where you live and visit has to be a really fun and engaging place as well, and that's so important to quality of life.
Right. And Cape Cod is so well known for art.
Right.
You know, whether it's painting or music or dance, it's definitely a huge part of our culture here on Cape Cod, so it's important to foster that arts and culture piece.
We're thrilled that we've always had the support to do that as a municipal organization that's unique, and Melissa has really built a program that's a model statewide, so so that's great to be a part of that. And then finally, our last division is community development, and that does focus around issues of housing, which are so fundamental to our economic development. I mean, those are tied.
If you can't live, you can't work. If you can't work, you can't live. It's very symbiotic.
Back to the whole interdisciplinary thing is that we're all kind of on each other's teams when it comes to addressing the problems that are in front of us. So we do that through support for affordable housing programs, as well as our federal community development block grant program that we administer as well. So that's kind of our division and our staff. We have a fantastic team.
Yes, you do.
So proud and thankful to be a part of that.
It's nice when you have a great team to work with, because you know that you can effectively get things done. So, big props to the planning and development team.
Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah. Also, just wanted to briefly touch on you guys. Like you had mentioned, a planning board and zoning board and site plan review. You guys have a couple of boards and committees that you're staff for, like Barnstable Economic Development Commission, Historical Commission, Housing Committee.
Yeah, we have a bunch of them.
Yeah.
So another big goal of the Planning and Development Department is, is public outreach. Understanding what the community is talking about. What they expect from town government. So, public engagement, public outreach is so important to us. And one of the primary ways that we do interface with the public are through these boards, committees, and commissions, both regulatory boards that issue permits, review kind of development going through, and then advisory boards that are working on some of the same issues that we are. So, so through planning board, zoning board, and our 3 different historic commissions, we see a lot of residents in the town of Barnstable, so it's always such a pleasure to be able to work with people through those processes, and we have some fantastic volunteers who staff all those.
You got to have those volunteers, or those boards wouldn't exist.
It's so critical. So please listen to Sarah and your counselors when they say if you want to participate on a board, committee, or commission, because we always, I think we probably have vacancies on at least one on all of our boards, committees, and commissions. So, if you're a resident out there listening that has a particular interest, or you say, hey, this is really want to get involved with this housing thing, like this is important to me or to my business, we can certainly find a place for you. And anybody who wants to be involved with really, making Barnstable a great place to live and affecting change in their community, we'd love to hear from you and talk to you.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. Our guest today is Elizabeth Jenkins. She's the Director of Planning and Development. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you so much, President Cox, for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Sarah. It's delightful to be here.
So we're going to talk all things Cape Cod Community College. So I hear enrollment is up this year.
Enrollment is really, it's energetic. It's been awesome. I can honestly say for the first time since probably 2009, we're looking at an increase in fall enrollment. So the tides have changed, if you will. There's much more keen interest and awareness of what's going on at the community college. And I think people are looking at us in part for that value proposition that we offer through the likes of the Commonwealth Commitment, where you can start at the college, take those general education requirements, transfer on as a junior, and receive a rebate along the way with that program. Or you can go directly into the job market with some of the programs that we offer, some of the new programs that I'm sure we're going to talk about.
Yes, that's excellent. It's so good to hear that. It's such a great resource we have in our community, so it's nice to hear that people are definitely taking advantage of that.
It is, and it's particularly delightful that there are so many partners in the community that have enabled us to continue to grow and meet the needs of the community.
That's great. So one of the things that you guys do is you have 2 different programs for high school students. You have dual enrollment and early college.
Yes.
So.
And you want to know the difference,
Yes.
right? Okay. I know it's Monday morning, it's early, the cup of coffee hasn't worn off
Right.
yet. But the dual enrollment is generally if you're in high school and you want to have the experience of taking a college level course, you can enroll in the course at the college. On occasion, we do offer the college level course in the high school so that more students may participate in it. The early college is really an entire program where we're offering students the ability, and this is currently at Bourne High School, students have the ability to enroll at Cape Cod Community College as juniors at Bourne High School. They will continue on as full-time college students at the community college, able to participate in the activities at the high school, but staying on that 2-year pathway, able to complete their associate's degree at the same time they would complete their diploma for high school.
That's amazing.
And it's a great opportunity to not only complete your education, but to save a lot of money along the way.
What are some of the requirements for juniors that are interested in participating in that kind of program?
The high school and the college will vet the students, and they're looking at them in terms of their ability, the self-directedness of how they handle their studies, their interest in what they want to pursue. And really their drive to become college students.
Right, because this definitely is not for everybody, but it is.
It's not, and it's for the students who continue to excel. It's also for, sometimes you have students that, they might need a little extra push and energy, and they're looking at the different environment of the college, and sometimes it triggers a level of success that they may not necessarily be touching at the high school.
That's wonderful. What a great program.
It is, and it's we're into our third set of students, our third cohort with the Bourne High School folks.
That's wonderful. Great. And I know you have a new nursing and health center. I probably said that wrong.
We do. It's our Nursing and Allied Health Center.
Yep.
It's really the result of a very strong collaboration with Cape Cod Healthcare. The CEO, Michael Loft, was very engaging in joining with the college to not only invest in our ability to make these improvements where we have doubled the space that we have available for the programs, but we now have the commitment through Cape Cod Healthcare for the clinicals, for the ability for our RN associate graduates to continue on with Cape Cod Healthcare as novice nurses, and ultimately end up with careers in healthcare locally on Cape Cod. And the other piece, in addition to being able to take more students into the nursing program, we do offer the ability for the nurses, the RNs with the associate's degree to continue on to earn their Bachelor of Science in Nursing at Cape Cod Community College through UMass Boston.
Oh, that's great.
So you don't have to leave the Cape.
And we know there's such a need here on the Cape for healthcare workers, especially nurses.
Dramatic need,
Yeah.
and through this collaboration, we've really been able to pull it together. We have additional faculty on board now, and the likes of a pathway for success for many more students.
That's wonderful.
It is.
Great. And then you also have your aviation program,
All right, yes.
which I know that Michael has talked on end about. It's a great program up at the Plymouth Airport, and you're going to have your first group.
Yeah, we're actually, it seems like it's been going on for a long time, but our first cohort, who actually, they began in September of last year, they will complete the program in October.
Wow.
They will earn their certificates, and they're in the process now of planning to sit for their FAA certifications.
Wow.
And we have literally had employers in the hangars making job offers to the students.
Wow.
So it's happening.
That's so amazing.
It's a great thing. And to see the success there and the energy of the faculty and the staff with the students, it's tremendous.
Yeah, and that's another area where there's a need. There's a need for airplane mechanics.
There's a critical need going forward. We just started our third cohort last week, and we continue to build on.
Wow, that's great. About how many students do you have taking
There
in this?
are, generally the cohort is about 20 students. We're in our third, so it's around about 60.
Oh, wow. That's
And
amazing.
we'll continue to grow that. We're looking at taking on an additional cohort later in the year.
Wow. That's great.
So keep us in mind
Yeah.
if you're interested in aviation maintenance.
Yes. Great. Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Okay, my pleasure.
I look forward to chatting with you
We've
again
ran
in the
out of
future.
time,
I
so I'll have
know.
to see you next Monday.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Have a
Same-
great week.
Same time, same place.
Thanks.
My guest today is
Thanks.
President John Cox of Cape Cod Community College. Now let's find out what's happening around town in today's community calendar. Looking for a knitting group? Knitting for a Cause creates items for local nonprofit organizations. They meet Tuesday mornings at the Centerville Library, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Knitters of all skill levels are welcome to join the group. Are you having balance issues but still want to work out? Chair Support Yoga is the workout for you. This yoga program is great for anyone that struggles getting up and down off the floor. The class focuses on stretching, improving balance, and building strength in a calm, supportive atmosphere from a chair and standing positions. It is free to all and is every Tuesday, 9:45 to 10:45 at the Our Lady of Victory Church in Centerville. For more information, you can visit www.yoganeighborhood.org. With technology evolving so rapidly, the Canute Library has tech support every Tuesday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. You can sign up for a 30-minute tutoring appointment for any tech problem, from ebooks, tablets, cell phones, laptops, and so much more. To make an appointment, please call the Gatuit Library at 508-428-8141. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be back tomorrow with another great show for you. We'll meet the new town engineer, Paul Graves, and get a police department update from Deputy Chief Matthew Sonnabend. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Beal.